Hey, caregivers. So I had some updates pending on changing some medication for G. We had downed his risperidone by 5 milligrams, and I will say it's been a week yesterday, or 2 weeks yesterday, and that's how long he told me to give it before I kind of just let him know what I noticed. So I'm about to go and place a message in the portal for Emory, for Dr. Wickman. That's his movement disorder specialist that he sees at Emory, who kind of oversees the Huntington stuff for us. I don't notice any differences at all, except maybe a little more movement when he's asleep. So that would be a negative side effect compared to a positive one. I don't notice that he's more alert or he has more emotion for us, good, bad, or indifferent. So the other thing was to possibly come down on the mirtazapine that he takes at bedtime. He's taken 15 milligrams of that. So I will see what the neurologist says about that after I leave this message in the portal. That was kind of like the next step. It's just frustrating. We really thought we would get some results with this decrease in medication, which kind of determines for us that he is just, the loss of personality at this point is more symptomatic than it is medication induced. Or at least that was the conversation with the neurologist. So I'll see what unfolds today. Which is heart-wrenching a little bit, because we were really hoping that we would see a little results with that, because he is just so subdued. But I know that some of you guys, anybody who's watching this that is a caregiver for somebody with Huntington's, probably thinks, oh my gosh, you're complaining about the wrong thing because my person wiles out. I will tell you, I was there on that side of it for months, probably closer to like 18 months to a year, to 18 months or something like that. And it was really, really hard. That was a situation where this was so welcomed when he was to the point where he was just this calm. But now I'm sitting through this process that feels like we're grieving somebody who's here. It's a different level of emotion. Instead of the eggshell, walking on eggshell, and I 100% understand that. Now we are at a place where, I mean, I long for that a little bit, but I do understand that that's just a different beast, and it's just as hard. If not maybe harder. I don't know. This is just where I am. That being said, I have had a little bit. The end of the week, it's Wednesday now, is like, I feel like it's getting better. But like Sunday night, Monday, I couldn't sleep. Because I knew I didn't notice a change in the medication. And so I had a hard time. So I kind of just laid there when he was asleep, and I knew he was moving a little bit more. That was the only thing I had noticed as far as changes go. And like just kind of praying over him. I know that's not for everybody, but it's 100% for me. It's what I believe. I believe it's the only thing that in this situation is going to do anything for us. So I was just trying to give it to the Lord, but also asking for peace for me, and how to walk this out, and how to do it with grace, and to do it in a way that is what he deserves. I don't want to walk around and be this person that is in a state of a pity party, or that is like missing out because I'm not appreciating what I do have. Because I mean, the reality is this: we all know, anybody who's dealing with this knows that it's degenerative. That being said, like, today's the best day that we're going to have, because we don't know when symptoms are going to increase. So I mean, it could be tomorrow, could be 10 times worse, or a percentage we don't even notice, but it is continuing to get worse. I mean, until the end. And that's not me. I mean, that's facts, you know? And I mean, even if it's a long time before you have any more symptoms come on, they're coming, you know? So I want to make sure that I'm living in the moment with him and appreciating where we are today, because I know that this is better than, you know, next year at this time probably will be. But I just long so much for the connection between us, I think, is where I'm hurting and where I'm struggling. So, and it's hard because, like, my people, my friend group, my family is always like, oh my God, you're loving him so well. I don't know how I would do it if I were you. And my response to that is always, well, you would just do it, because I mean, this is what we made a vow for. Not everybody has to live this part of their marriage vows out, but this is the in sickness and in health, and like, of course I'm gonna do it, like, you know. So, and I get that's not for everybody. I'm not shunning anybody who doesn't do it that way, but you know, that's just how I feel about that. But lots of people make that vow and never actually have to follow through with that side of things. And they're just very fortunate, but they don't realize that. And I don't know. But I don't want to miss out on today because I'm worried about the future. Or that I'm pining for, you know, last week, last month, last year, where he was symptom-wise. But where we are is not horrible, physically. We still get to do a lot of things, but personality-wise and mental capacity, it's hard because it's taken away the emotional connection for him to me, to our kids, to anybody really. And so that's really hard because we, you know, our story is very probably different than most people. We met much later in life. We've been married 12 years now. It's not a long time per se. He probably was symptomatic when we got together, but it was what I knew of him, and it was nothing debilitating, nothing major. I was told about Huntington's very early on in our dating relationship, and about 18 months after we were married, he decided to be tested. So, you know, like, this has always been a thing for us. We've just been playing a waiting game. So I feel like I had that indicator to say, live life to the fullest, do all the things, make all the memories. And I will be honest with you, like, we knew that. I felt like in the moment I was doing that. I will be honest with you now. I have major regrets that we did not do that differently, because he worked probably 65 hours a week on third shift. We worked opposite shifts. I worked like crazy. I now work 2 jobs and still care for him, but like, it's out of necessity now compared to before. We could have trimmed back. We could have, you know, lived within different means, but we were trying to, you know, build a life for ourselves and get ourselves straightened out, and we had all our children were very young, so there's just always a financial need that you have to work to support. But that's times, that's hours, that's memories that I can't go back and make. So I will say to anybody who is like on the front end of this, trying to decide, like, there's no wrong way to do that. I feel like I have some family members that are also kind of processing this in their own homes, and their take on it was, we're going to have all the fun, we're going to make all the memories, we're going to live it up. We took we have to provide now because we won't be able to later. I wish we had taken the other route, I think. Because, like, the more money you have, the more money you spend. I personally believe that. And we're at a place where I would give every single dollar in my 401k and in my savings account and in my checking account and in any money that we have ever saved, I would, or anything I've ever bought, I would give it back and be in debt times a million bazillion dollars to have like a day of how he was like even 3 years ago. So, but that's just me. And only thing I can do in this whole, journal, blog, things, I'm just talking about my own experience and I'm getting it off my chest. And if it's helpful to somebody else, cool. If it's not and it's completely opposite of your experience, like, understand that every Huntington's case is different. Every disease case is different, really, especially with Huntington's though. But like, you could have cancer and your experience with that is different than somebody else's per se, because your body's different and how you react is different and the support system you have is different. So, I mean, this is just me and this is my vent and my emotions and my facts and all the things about where we are personally. It is not necessarily a guide for anybody else, but if it could just give some insight to somebody else who is not quite where we are, but if it's Huntington's, like I said, it's degenerative, so you may very well be where we are sometime soon. I wish I would have done things differently. So I'm home today. I just got pulled in the driveway. I'm going to be home today because some work stuff didn't work out. So I'm going to work from the house today. So I'll be with him for a little bit. But like, that doesn't really mean anything. So maybe I can take him to lunch today or something. I don't know. Over the weekend, we decided to splurge. I try to do those things now because I didn't do them later. Because I also know that like today, like I said, is the best day that we're going to have. So even though they're not as awesome as they would have been 2 or 3 years ago when he would have really enjoyed it, or, the thing is he's really enjoying it, but he can't express it, or he's worn out by it or whatever. But, so we try to take the trips now and make the memories and do the things, more so probably for my kids and for myself, because I don't know that it's a whole lot. I don't know that it interests him a whole lot. Like, I think lots of times he would rather me leave him alone and let him sit on his one little spot on the couch and look at his phone or whatever. But like over the weekend, we decided Friday had an orthopedic doctor appointment, for where he's banged his elbow so many times, and so they took care of some things there, and we just pilfered around a little bit in where his doctor's appointment was, and we went to Hobby Lobby. That's his favorite. So I'll have to throw a picture in here of that because he absolutely loves some Hobby Lobby, y'all. He loves Christmas, so they always have Christmas stuff out year round, and then it gets more and more as the year goes on. So they already had a lot of ornaments and stuff out. So we just kind of looked around in there. He wasn't nearly excited as he usually is, but we looked around in there, and then we went and he picked dinner. So we went and he sat down and had him a good dinner. We got treats on the way home, and then we decided while sitting there, because he'd asked me when were we going to take my daughter to a Braves game, because she had asked to go. We've went with our sons a few times. She's never been interested. I think maybe it's hey, the boys have done this with Daddy, and it was a fun experience for them, for memories, and so she wanted to do it. I think she knows he loves it. So she has been asking about going. So we decided and we splurged and we got the tickets last minute and took him, I took the two of them. So we did that Saturday and it was a good time. I think he was really tired. So because of that, he didn't get up and go to church Sunday. And I think that, I understand that, but it really wasn't that much. Like, we went there and we sat there, but it took a lot out of him. So those are, I think, probably one of the things that gets on my mind. And I start thinking about that. I think part of the reason why I maybe had a tougher emotional processing day for myself on Sunday night, because I just felt like it's a lot and trying to make these memories and trying to do these things, but it's like wearing them out. And like, how do I prioritize this? Do I still push this even though it's wearing him out? Or do I and just adapt the next days or the following days? Like, how do I do that? What do I do? I don't know. So we did that, and then we've just been home all week. He hasn't left the house since Saturday. when he had the Braves game. He still seems pretty worn out. I don't know. So, I'm gonna send a message in the portal for his neurologist. They're really good about getting back to me and just say, hey, you asked me to give this 2 weeks. I don't notice a huge difference. Do we want to do something else? They did give me a follow-up appointment for January. But I feel like that's just going to be to talk about the same thing. So if I can message them and prompt them to make any medication change. I was very leery of making all these medication changes up until I was there 2 weeks ago and they said, hey, this may help. Let's try it. And the neurologist sat with me and said, hey, if it was my husband, I would try it, but I understand you're not wanting to. And so when she told me that there really wasn't a risk to him, it was just trying to see, like, how he would react to it, as far as, like, would he be a little less subdued and have a little more personality or energy because he wasn't so tired because of the medication or whatever, get a little more life out of life. So now I'm kind of on this kick where, like, I was hoping that I was going to get that and I didn't. So now I'm kind of not pushing for it, but also pushing for it in the fact that just to say, hey, so is there something else or no? Try not to set myself up for disappointment. I will be honest. I'm struggling with the disappointment with the reality that this is probably symptoms that have changed so much in the last 12, 15 months, that he's not really subdued so much by medication, but he's just subdued so much by just his symptoms. But I do understand the other side of that is that he could be wilding on me, and he's not. So I don't know. I don't really know. But I do know that this is where we are today. And we'll see what the neurologist says about anything else they may want to change. This weekend, we were supposed to have a horse show for my daughter. She's barrel racing. So that would be a thing for him to go to and watch. But it's like we don't get done till like 1 o'clock in the morning. And so trying to make decisions about, like, does he miss that because it's just going to be so much on him? Or do we push him to go because, eventually he won't be able to go. So, like, I feel like every week there's some kind of decision like that you have to make. Like, is this for you or no? Do we protect you at this moment and say, hey, let's not push it? Or do we push it and say, we got to do it right now because you might not be able to do it next month, next week, next year? And I feel like that is a constant battle. And I don't know if that's something that anybody else battles, but I feel like it's always my decision. It's always me, because I'm going to tell him, hey, we're going, or hey, I think you don't have to go, or you're not going to go. Because even when I give him a decision, he will literally just, like, blank stare, look at me like, what do you think? So it ends up being my decision regardless. So I think, like, if I do this and he goes, great, he gets to see his daughter. She gets to have those memories, even if he could care less. And I don't think that he cares less. I think that that's what comes out of him emotionally, that he doesn't care. But I know that him being there matters to her. But then, like, if I ask him to go and we do that, one, I'm worried about him the whole time I'm home. I'm out till 1 a.m. because he's putting himself in the bed and doing all the things, which he can still do, but it just stresses me out. To have him have to feed himself, have to eat dinner alone, and then put himself in the bed. So I don't know. But then also, it could make him have a really crazy rough weekend because he is messed up on his schedule. He's messed up on his sleep. There's no right or wrong. There's just always a decision to be made, and it always just feels like I don't know what to do. I don't know what's best. And so, like, I changed back and forth from the mindset of we got to do all the things, we got to get it, and then to the mindset of I don't want to overdo it. So I feel like I'm always in a constant battle of that and having to make decisions for him, that what's best for us, what's best for him. And I don't flipping know, like, I don't know. And even the doctor, when I talked to We had our neurologist plus this other lady that's a neurologist that was super sweet, but like they both can't tell me. They're like, one day at a time, figure out what you think. Like, there's no wrong way. Heard, appreciate it. Thing is, I just am tired of making decisions. Sometimes, and I don't know if anybody else feels like that, but sometimes I just get tired of being the one that I have to make all the decisions for me, all decisions for my children, all the decisions for him, and they're major decisions. Like, lots of times for him, it seems like something minor, but it could have major repercussions. And then again, it could not. And so, like, you just don't know ever. So, I guess I'm about to go in and see him and put these notes into his MyChart and try to get a response from the neurologist, and I'll make an update if we make some more changes. But as of right now, I guess my update is we've changed medication. There's no changes other than he has more movements at night. I don't notice anything personality wise or him being more alert or involved emotionally. Did a lot of things this last weekend. Have a lot of things scheduled for this weekend, but he just seems worn out. So there's that. So we'll just see. We'll see. I might draw it out of a hat and decide what to do that way, because at this point, like, it's about that's kind of where I am, because I just don't know anymore. But I don't know if anybody else is where we are, but or has been here even, but like, send me a message. Like, I don't know, I feel very alone on these, just how I'm feeling. I don't think that there's anybody else that really can give me any insight. Even the doctors say, meh, I don't know, it's it's whatever you decide. I don't know that anybody else could really tell me what to do, but at the same time, like, just the feeling, I can't even describe it to my friends or to my family, because even to my children, it is a level of responsibility that is obviously hard to carry, but I do it so willingly. He's my person and I love him so much, but it's I am kind of at a loss. I'm at a standstill a little bit with how I'm supposed to feel and what I'm supposed to do. And I'm just praying because I need some peace with, like, just trying not to live in the past. And then also, like, how to make decisions for the future when it's really just a shot in the dark all the time. Because so I have fear that I'm going to have regrets, that I'm going to make the wrong decision either way. And then I just feel like it's hard for me to focus on work or on the kids or on anything else, because I feel like this is always in the back of my mind. And so, like, I feel like it's taken over who I am as a person. I know that it's affected me at work. So I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, that's where we are.